Malcolm, again, thank you. And Mr. Lamming and Mr. Vare, thank you for also being here on this call. I know that all staff have been working very hard towards this day, so thank you very much. So good morning again to everyone here in the Sioux and the media that is joining us here today. And before I go too far, I just wanted to do a land acknowledgement that we are here today on the Robinson Huron territory and on the land that is traditionally the territory of the Ojibwe people, specifically Garden River and Batchewana First Nations, as well as the Métis people. So, you know, these are unprecedented times, and participating in this virtual event reminds us of the impact of COVID-19 has had on all Canadians. But the situation is evolving quickly, and all levels of government in Canada are taking decisive action now. Through joint federal, provincial, and municipal funding, we are announcing today support for 6 transit projects in Sault Ste. Marie. The Government of Canada is investing over $5.5 million in upgrading public transit in Sault Ste. Marie. These upgrades will help build a more modern, accessible transit system that will encourage ridership and help to build a low-carbon future. So very, very important day and just very excited. The investments are being made through the public transit infrastructure stream of the Investing in Canada Infrastructure Plan. Together, these investments will support our community, help our residents get to work, school, and essential services and back home on time. First, the purchase of 22 brand new buses to replace existing buses will result in a more efficient and reliable public transit system. 39 buses will also have a new fare box and automatic vehicle locator technology, which will increase the speed in which passengers can board the bus, increase the accuracy of monitoring and tracking of bus locations, and will be fully accessible for passengers with disability, which is absolutely important. The relocation of the downtown terminal and a new terminal in the north end will help ensure a higher quality and more convenient public transit service. And finally, up to 25 new bus shelters will replace aging shelters and will help to protect passengers from the elements, whether it's the scorching sun or, of course, our winters that we love so here in Sault Ste. Marie area. So those are absolutely important. These projects will help make the transit system more accessible for residents and create good jobs at a time when our country needs it the most. The Government of Canada is working closely with provinces, municipalities, other partners, and stakeholders to get projects built quickly, projects that make a difference in the lives of Canadians in these very trying times. We're making investments to grow the economy and create good jobs, improve people's quality of life, and protect the environment. Here in Ontario, we've invested over $7.7 billion through our infrastructure plan towards more than 2,500 projects across the province, projects that are strengthening the communities where you live, raise your family, and work. Your health and safety remains our top priority, but we recognize strong investments in infrastructure will help create jobs and stabilize the economy. These transit investments are obviously built on the other transit investments that we did over the last 5 years, and these are critical to our country's recovery as we move forward and build our future. Together, we will improve the well-being of all Canadians. Thank you very much, Malcolm.
Thank you very much, Terry. I'd like to now invite Stephen Crawford, who's the Member of Provincial Parliament for Oakville and Parliamentary Assistant to the Ontario Minister of Infrastructure, and he will deliver remarks on behalf of the Government of Ontario.
Thank you very much, Malcolm, and good morning to everyone. I'm sorry I couldn't be in the beautiful community of Sault Ste. Marie today, but I'm sure the summer is going well under the circumstances there, and I'm happy to be here today on behalf of the Minister of Infrastructure, the Honourable Laurie Scott, and on behalf of my colleague, the Member of Provincial Parliament, the Honourable Minister Ross Romano, who's obviously the member for your region. So today's announcement brings exciting news for transit users and transit services in the city of Sault Ste. Marie. I believe this is a tremendous day. Last summer, Ontario nominated these 6 public transit infrastructure projects after careful review to the federal government for funding under the Investing in Canada Infrastructure Program. Today, once again, we're celebrating with the approval of these projects that will renew and enhance Sault Ste. Marie and improve the quality of life for residents in the entire region. The projects we are celebrating today include the purchase of 22 new buses to replace existing fleet buses, fare boxes, and automatic vehicle location and call-out equipment that will provide passengers with next stop capabilities, along with Wi-Fi on all 39 vehicles in the fleet. I think that's great news for bus customers that are needing access to the internet and able to work while they're in transit. Additionally, the downtown bus terminal will be relocated with the construction of a new addition to the main transit building. This will provide a safe, comfortable location for riders to wait and include a concession area and public washrooms. These enhancements will greatly improve access in Sault Ste. Marie to public transit for all residents. I know the provincial funding of more than $4.5 million will help make life easier, getting people where they want to go quicker, faster, and safer. And I'm proud to be part of a government that has made a commitment to invest over $7.3 billion in transit infrastructure over the next 10 years in the ISIP program. I think we can all agree that moving goods and markets and people to jobs is an important element of our economic recovery and growth, especially after the COVID-19 pandemic. I'm thrilled that Sault Ste. Marie is the latest community to have been given the green light to move forward with this public transit infrastructure announcement. Our shovels are ready to go, ready to begin working to deliver more and reliable public transit services to our communities. The announcement today could not have been possible without cooperation and collaboration with all levels of government. The federal government, I want to thank everybody at that level, as well as our municipal partners. And of course, I'd like to thank Mayor Christian Provenzano for his advocacy for joining us in funding these 6 priority transit infrastructure projects for your community. As a parliamentary assistant to the Minister of Infrastructure, I look forward to making many more announcements like this one in communities across Ontario very soon, and we'll continue to work very closely with our federal government partners to secure more project approvals. So I'm really excited to be here today, and I'd like to thank everybody for having me on this call, and I'd like to now pass it over back to Malcolm.
Thank you very much, Stephen. I'd like to introduce Mayor Christian Provenzano from the city to deliver remarks on behalf of the city.
Thank you, Malcolm. I want to appreciate, thank, and recognize the media who have made the time to attend this announcement today. I want to recognize our MP, Terry Sheehan, and MPP, Stephen Crawford. Thank you, Stephen, for attending on behalf of your minister and our member of Provincial Parliament, Minister Ross Romano, on behalf of both those ministers. We appreciate your time today and your participation in this. This is really a great announcement for Sault Ste. Marie. We see our federal and our provincial partners contributing collectively $10 million to transit projects in our community. This mayor and council, this term, we set out to really improve our transit in our community. We started last term looking at what we needed to do to improve it. We had an aged fleet. We had some aged routes. Our ridership was down, but we recognized transit as an important driver, important socioeconomic driver. Transit's a matter of social equity, making our community more accessible, making it easier for people to be able to move around our community is a matter of fairness. And it's also important for our economy, so people can have an easier time getting to appointments, getting to work. So we knew we had a lot of work to do in transit. We knew we could do much better than we were doing, but we knew we didn't have the resources. We had the will and we had the staff, we had the manpower, but we didn't have the resources. So we put together a really significant plan. I want to recognize the team that did that in transit. We have 2 of those leaders here with us today. We have our Deputy CEO, Mr. Ver, and we have Mr. Brett Lamming, who is our Community Services Leader. And they helped with the folks in transit, with our frontline staff, put together an important transit improvement plan. And we are now implementing that plan. And you're seeing significant changes to our transit system. We will have an updated fleet. We will have more advanced routes. We will have more technology. We will be able to move people around the city more effectively and efficiently. And that's a win for all of us. It's a win for our community. It's a win for the province. It's a win for the federal government. We're all achieving our goals and making our community more accessible, making it easier to move around, and making public transit easier for people to access and use. None of this would be achievable without partnership, and none of this would be achievable if we didn't work together. So I want to recognize and thank MP Sheehan and his government I want to recognize and thank MPP Ross Romano and his government. And I want to thank the staff here at the city who have worked hard to put this plan together. I'm excited what it means for our community. And I think by the end of this council term, everybody in the community will see a significant difference in our transit system. We'll see ridership up, we'll see it being used more frequently, and we'll see it being more effective for a tool for the entire community. It's a matter of social equity and it's a matter of economy, and we're working to improve both here. So I want to thank everybody for their time today. I want to thank the provincial and federal government for their substantial contributions to this program. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor Provenzano. We'd like to invite the members of the media to participate in a question and answer session with the panelists you have here. It'll be moderated by our corporate communications staff. So we have MP Sheehan, MPP Crawford, and Mayor Provenzano available, as well as Mr. Bear, Mr. Lamming for technical questions regarding the transit funding.
Thank you, CAO White. I will turn it now to Elaine Delamatea from the Sault Star for any questions.
Good morning. Terry, this first question, I guess, is for you. I understand that this is certainly part of the Investing in Canada Fund. This announcement sounds very similar to one that was made, I believe, earlier this year or late last year at the Construction Association office here in Sault Ste. Marie. Is this a regurgitated announcement that funding is just coming through now, or is this actual new money?
These streams that have been available, as you know, we've invested significantly in transit over a number of years, and this is new funding. And as Stephen has mentioned, that there's a process that goes along through this fund, in which the funding is made available. The province then nominates projects back to us, in which then we approve and are able to launch. So this is on top of the money that was previously announced by me. Is the best way I could answer that.
Terry, maybe if I can offer Elaine some clarity. Elaine, I was at the announcement at the Construction Association, and what that was set up by MPP Romano, and MPP Romano was announcing that they had recommended this program to the federal government. So at the time, they were announcing that the provincial government had approved the program and recommended to the federal government for approval. And so technically, I guess at that point, we had the 4.5 million. But now it's been approved by the federal government.
That's
and
correct.
The federal government saying this program's finally approved. So although it was announced and approved by our province and forwarded forward to the federal for their approval, this is them actually saying, yes, this program's now approved. So to us, this is new money. We didn't have the approval for this entire project until the federal government signed off on it.
Okay, thank you. Can I have a follow-up question?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, I think this one is for you, Mr. Crawford. Yesterday, certainly Premier Ford and the provincial government announced special funding for transit. How is this part of that announcement, or is this separate? Could you explain?
Yeah, this is, as MP Sheehan and Mayor Provincial mentioned, this is part of the Investing in Canada Infrastructure Program. So this was a program, this is different than what was announced yesterday. This is a program that was set up with the provincial, municipal, and federal governments, and it's a decade-long program investing in. There's various streams in this particular program. There's a transit stream, there's a green stream. So we have different streams. This is particular to the transit stream, and we're excited just to be able to participate in this. We know how important transit is. And although ridership is down with COVID, we know there's going to be a strong economic recovery, and more people are taking transit throughout Ontario, and we need to get buses that can get people to locations quicker. We want people to be able to work on the buses and go trains down here in the GTA, so that they have access to Wi-Fi, which is a big issue. So we're excited to be here with both our municipal and federal counterparts.
So how will yesterday's announcement also help our transit system then?
That's still to be determined. The Premier's still working on that as we speak. But that's something we're looking at. So that's a different program.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you, Elaine. Next, we will go to Christopher Oldcorn from On TV and Sue Online.
Thank you very much. Back in February, I did a story on the transit system here in town, specifically the fare boxes. And the city is in like a multi-year public transit plan, but we've known about issues with these fare boxes since early 2019, late 2018. Why wait this long to fix the fare boxes when you knew you were losing revenue from that? And that's for the mayor.
It was a matter of the resource allocation to fix the fare boxes. So we had developed this plan, and we had put the plan together in front of our provincial and federal partners for funding, and we were waiting for confirmation of those funds. Look, we do not have a significant transit budget. I think Brent did a presentation to council that demonstrated that on a per capita basis, our funding for transit was significantly lower than another number of our comparators. To be quite direct, we didn't have the resources to replace all those fare boxes, but we knew we had this plan in place, and we knew we were looking for funds from our federal provincial partners to move forward. So we were waiting on the approval, and that's where we are today.
Okay, and just a follow-up to that, you said that ridership was down. How is ridership tracked? Because I know, like, the story I did was on the multi-ride passes not being read in the fare machines. Is that how riding is tracked, or is there another system that, like, the bus drivers click a clicker or something like that to keep track of how many people actually go on and off the bus? Because I know when I first moved to this town, I used the bus system, and I had those multi-ride passes, and they didn't work about 30% of the time. So how is the ridership actually tracked in town for the bus system?
I'm gonna have Brent answer that question.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, happy to take that question. As you stated, the fare box system is an age system, and if it fails with respect to going on, we have a manual button that the operator, the bus driver, does push to make sure that every ride is tracked. So that's in place in every one of our units.
Okay, so then the actual ridership is down. It's not just a matter of, like, passes not being read then, right?
Our actual ridership is up. In 2019, our ridership was 1.89 million rides versus 1.52 million rides in 2018, which is an increase of 370,000 rides year over year. And in January and February of this year, we had even more increased ridership, up 100,000 rides over 2019 until the impact of COVID. So our ridership has trended quite nicely due to the international student growth and our partnership with our local social services.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, Christopher, I can add just some clarity there.
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, no problem. When I was indicating our ridership was down is when we started our transit plan on how to improve our transit, our ridership was down.
Are you referencing the 2018 plan, you mean?
Yeah, so when we were going into that, the plan was to try and bring our ridership up, and as Brent's indicating, we've been successful in that regard.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Christopher. We're going to go to Darren Taylor next from Sioux Today.
Yes, good morning, everyone. I just need a quick recap of those numbers, please. And this question is open to anyone. How much federal funding and how much provincial funding for this project, please, everyone? If you just recap that for me, please.
5.5 million from the federal government to replace 22 buses and to help with 25 new bus shelters, as well as to get the modern upgrades for the new fare box and the automatic vehicle locator technology and some other things that have been mentioned as well for accessibility and to improve service quickness of delivery and time. And I think Stephen would be able to speak to the
so
dollars.
Same too. I mean, it's a formula-based program. So with the provincial government, it's 4.5 million investment from the provincial government.
I'm sorry, sir. How much?
4.5 million.
4.5 million. Thank you, sir. And this is to anyone. Do I understand correct? 22 new buses for the Sioux over the next few months and years? 22?
Brent, why don't you walk Darren through the program here?
Sure, yes. 22 buses. We have 9 40-foot buses that'll be purchased, 5 35-foot buses, 5 para buses, and 3 community buses. This essentially is a good portion of our overall fleet of 39 units. So we're going to be in much better shape after these units are purchased. As the mayor had stated, we have one of the oldest fleets in the country, averaging around 15 years of age versus 9 for the country and about 8 years for the province. So this is great news for the city of Sault Ste. Marie.
Okay, thank you. And when can the city expect delivery of the first batch, if you will, of new vehicles?
I could take that one. Since this announcement just took place, our tenders will be going out hopefully this week and with aligned with our purchasing department. And it depends on the size of the units. Some need to be manufactured, which could be 8 to 12 months lead time, and some are already manufactured. So we're hoping to get some of the units that are manufactured already to get them into service. And with this announcement, we're kind of leading the curve, and so hopefully we'll be earlier in the queue, as they say, to be able to access some of the units that are made. And if not, we'll get into a spot where our units will be made and put into service.
And
Okay,
just a comment on.
sorry.
Sorry, just a
Yeah,
comment
sure,
on
go
that,
ahead,
Darren.
Terry.
And it occurred to me, and it is very, very true. And I served with the mayor as a city councillor, and at that particular time, our fleet was substantially, old. So I'm really, really pleased to see this replacement of the 22 buses, including the para buses that the mayor has so indicated, with this plan and going forward, being able to replace them, because the fleet was pretty old when I was on city council 5 years ago. So thanks again to everybody.
All right. Well, thank you, gentlemen. I just needed those a repeat of those facts. So thank you very much, everyone. Appreciate it.
Darren, Tessa's going to email you out a copy of the program and the funding associated with it, municipal, provincial, federal, and it will indicate everything we're doing with the funds. So you can have that.
Excellent. Excellent. Thank you.
She'll provide that to all of the media on the call.
Awesome. Thank you.
Thank you. That concludes my list of media that have pre-registered. Are there any other media on the call that would like to provide a question at this time? Okay, hearing none, I'll turn it back to CAO White for concluding comments.
Thank you very much, Tessa, and thank you very much to our media representatives for attending today. I'd like to thank everyone, and we can now conclude the Zoom announcement. Thank you.
Thank you.